a rule of thumb to join in on a collaboration. And I was really excited because it's a summer dessert collaboration, and that's with my Alabama home. And I just love summer desserts because what that means is no baking, and usually uh, it's something cool and refreshing. So I was really excited about that. So I took him up on it, and I'm going to make a dessert. Now, I love ice cream. I love anything. That's my downfall. So I thought it would be really neat to do an ice cream dessert. So this is a drumstick ice cream dessert. And if y'all remember, I don't know, one of my favorite ice creams is a drumstick. And that's with your sugar cone with your vanilla ice cream and the hard chocolate shell on top, and it's usually got peanuts or nuts on top. That's one of my favorite ice creams. Well, I had seen this dessert a while back, and I thought, that would be so good. And it would really be good at, a birthday party or something like that. And so I thought, I'm going to try this because it's got to be good. How could it not be? So we're going to get busy, and we're going to make a drumstick ice cream dessert, and we'll taste it when we're done. And I guarantee you, I just about think it's probably going to taste just like the drumsticks you get off the ice cream truck. Do y'all remember the ice cream trucks? Now, out in rural areas, they didn't have them. But I lived outside of Houston till I was 13. Now, I was up here in Arkansas on my summer times. It's where I spent my summers, was up here in the hills of Arkansas. But down there in Texas, there's an ice cream truck that would come by the house every day at a certain time. And you'd hear that ding, ding, ding. And, of course, you always hoped you had a 50 cents, that you could run out there and get you a fudgesicle. And one of my favorite ones was snow cone or the drumsticks. So let's get started, and I'll show you all the ingredients, and then we'll get started on a recipe, and it won't take very long. Okay, I'm going to show you the easy ingredients we've got to have. You got to have 8 of the sugar cones to make your crust. You need a half a cup of whipping cream. You need 1 1/4 cup of semi-sweet or chocolate chips, milk chocolate. You need a good handful of either chopped up peanuts, pecans, walnuts, whatever your favorite nut is. Now, some people can't eat peanuts, so you just use whatever you want. And you need, this is 1 1/2 quarts. So that's what I'm going to use in this recipe. That's what the recipe calls for. So we're going to use 1 1/2 quarts. And then you need one of these little gems here. This is Smucker's Magic Shell. And this is one of those that you pour over and it gets hard. So I've never bought this before, so I'm kind of excited about it, just like a little kid. And you also need 3 tablespoons of melted butter. So what we're going to do is we're going to put I'm going to break up my cones in my food processor. Just help it out a little bit. Mr. Brown and I know Mr. Brown loves ice cream, especially just a plain vanilla bean ice cream. He just really, and he loves homemade ice cream. But it seems like to me we do eat more ice cream in the wintertime. I don't know why. It's not that we don't eat it in the summertime, but it just seems like in wintertime we crave it more. I think in the summertime, like right now, you're just so hot that you don't really want to eat anything. I've got a 9-inch springform pan. Now, I didn't mention that, but you want to make this in a springform pan because that'll be the only way really that you can get it out, because you can take the sides off. Now, if you don't have one of these and you just have a regular pie plate, you can still make it. You can just dip it out like a regular pie. It's not that big a deal. So what I'm going to do is I've got my 8 sugar cones in here. I need to grab my melted butter. microwave. I'm gonna get this going. I'll take that one off. You need to chop it up kind of fine because you're gonna make your crust out of this. I know this thing's loud. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my 3 tablespoons of melted butter in here. And I'm going to mix this up a little bit. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want it to end up like powder. Okay. I think that's enough. So I'm just going to take this off and I'm going to put them in my springform pan. And I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm just going to kind of pat it down. Now what you're going to do, once you get your crust patted down in your pan, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. I'm going to let it sit for about 30 minutes and let it set up, let it get firm, because the next step is going to be pouring your melted chocolate over this crust. So you want your crust to be set up really good. So just pat it down evenly. And I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator and then we'll come back for the next steps. My crust is good and set up. I put mine in the freezer for about 10 minutes and it's set up really fast. So our next ingredients is going to be our 1 1/4 cup of semi-sweet or milk chocolates. You just need to pour them in a bowl. And I've got that 1/2 cup of whipping cream, and I stuck it in the microwave, and you want to scald it. You want to get it hot, but you don't want it boiling, and that's what scalding is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this scalded milk over the chocolate chips. I'm going to let it sit just a minute and let it melt them chips. I'm going to stir it down. Now what I got here is, this is 1.5 quarts of vanilla bean ice cream. That's exactly what you need for this recipe. These chocolate chips should start melting. Maybe getting too big of a hurry here. Just need to let them sit and let them melt. Just kind of help them along a little bit. Because this is the chocolate that you're going to pour on top of your crust. And they're starting to melt. And this is like a ganache is what it is. I wanted to make a dessert that I knew that the grandkids would probably like, and they love ice cream, and I thought this would be a good one. There's so many good no-bake ice creams out, or desserts out there, and you know, when it's hot like it is in July and August, you don't want to be turning the oven on and stuff like that, so I really like these kind of desserts. So we're going to try to get this chocolate chips melted good, and they're getting there. I don't want any lumps in it. So you pretty much got a ganache there that's going to, when you put it in the refrigerator, it's going to set up. And it's already cooled off. because over this you're going to be putting your ice cream. So we're going to take our crust and pour our ganache over it. I think all the chocolate chips melted real good. But we're going to go ahead and pour them on there. And just spread it out a little bit. Spread it out around your pan. Now this would be the easy dessert for kids to help with too. Somebody's messaging me. I forgot to turn the sound off. Okay, so we got our chocolate on there. So our next step is our ice cream. And I took it out long enough to soften it up. So I'm just going to plop it on top of the chocolate. And like I said, this is 1.5 quarts. This is going to be so good. One of my favorite ice creams is Rocky Road ice cream. And in Texas, I lived, Baskin Robbins was just down the road. Well, it's just down the end of the street from where I live. And I would go down there and I would get a scoop of Rocky Road and usually a scoop of chocolate mint or something like that. And sometimes, that's really good, I'd get a scoop of coffee ice cream with chocolate chip mint ice cream. Them two go together really good. Okay, I'm going to take this ice cream and I'm just going to kind of spread it around as best I can. Because you don't want it completely melted. Even though it would make the process easier. You don't want it where you can just pour it out. Just do the best you can, smooth it out good. It don't have to be beautiful, it's all going to eat. Spread it out to the sides. Now your next step is to take your magic shell and just pour it all over the top. Like I said, I've never used this stuff before, so this is new to me, but it says that you got to work with it fast because it'll start to set up. So I'm going to try to get it spread out. Spread it out as even as you can. Try to get it to the sides. It's already trying to set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle my peanuts on top before it really sets up. And if you're allergic to peanuts, you can just leave them off. Or, you know, if you can eat pecans or walnuts, that would be good too. Did anybody ever put their peanuts in their Coke? We used to do it all the time. So good. Till you get choked on it, then you... Don't care how many times you do it, you always end up getting choked on it. But then you go ahead and do it again, so. But there we go. Now, I'm going to put this in the freezer. I'm going to let it set up good. And then tomorrow we'll get it out after our Sunday lunch and we'll try it. And we'll bring you back with us. Now, I failed to mention that you can line, if you're going to use a springform pan like this, you can line it with foil first to make sure there's no leakage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on top of the pan like this, or put my pan on top of the plate. And then instead of putting foil or plastic wrap, I'm just going to put another plate on top. And that's how I'm going to put it in my freezer. Okay, I got my official tasters here. Tell me if it tastes like a Nutty Buddy drumstick. Kind of, sort of.
I'm already halfway done. Not yet.
I know, you couldn't wait.
Nah, I can't eat this now.
What makes Nutty Buddy good, though, is the salty and the sweet. And
The peanuts.
That's what makes this good, is the chocolate and the salt.
Vanilla bean ice cream.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I think we look pretty rough. We just come in from the garden, and it's like 102 degrees out there. But I need to end this video, and I want to tell Paul from Paul's Rule of Thumb, thank you again for tagging me on this. I had a lot of fun with this collaboration. And I think he was tagged by my Alabama home. And Paul made a really good dessert. It had nectarines and yogurt and maple syrup in it. So y'all need to go over there to Paul's Rule of Thumb and check out his channel and his recipe. He has some really good recipe, and he does a really good job on canning. He has some special recipes, canning recipes. But the hard job I've got to do right now is I'm supposed to tag some people in this collaboration. And why it's so hard is because I want to tag everybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to leave nobody out. So everybody just join in. So it was a good dessert, wasn't it, Mr. Brown?
It was delicious. I had a slice after lunch, and then I just had another slice a few minutes ago. And
it tastes just like a Nutty Buddy drumstick.
Yeah, if you're familiar with what we call the Nutty Buddies, or some people call them drumsticks, the ice cream you buy, it's better than that because it's the way it's made, but it's delicious.
It is good, guys. It's the first time I ever made it, but I have to say it's a good, easy recipe. And it'd be good, like I said, for a birthday party or anything, so. Or just for your husband to
Get fatter on.
get fatter on. So, but I'm going to tag some people. And like I said, I just love for anybody just to jump in on this collaboration because it's a lot of fun doing the summer dessert collaboration. But I'm going to tag Miss Vicki from Vicky's Country Home, Tressa from Tressa's Stay at Home Life, and Tammy from Little Jordan Farm, Mary from Mary's Nest, Tina from Teasers Pleasers, Alyssa from Moat Cottage. Now I've got a bunch of them down here. Alyssa from Moat Cottage Homestead, Katie from Heritage Ways, and Susan at My Revival. So that's a lot of them, and I hope maybe half of them I have time to join in, but like I said, I hope all of y'all do. So it's been fun. I hope y'all like this recipe, and I hope y'all try it. And I think I got light coming in on my glasses. Look at that.
It's so good for a hot summer day. It's heat index is over 100 degrees here today. And
You would eat it if it was 30 below.
I do tend to eat more ice cream in the winter. I do. So
Let's just tell the truth.
people used to think I was crazy because I ate so much ice cream in the winter, but
We do. But anyways, we're going to say bye, and I hope you liked this video. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I want to give everybody that has subscribed to my channel and said some of the kindest words that I've ever seen in comments. I just really appreciate it. And so is Mr. Brown. He's been reading a lot of them to me because I can't hardly stay caught up. But we appreciate all y'all.
hey, I read all of them.
He does.
I read every one of them.
He does. And I'll be busy cooking or doing something, and he's reading to me. So don't think we don't read y'all's comments because we really do. And we appreciate y'all. God bless everybody.